Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here and welcome back to EVE Talk Part 2. So in this part I'm going to focus a little bit more on the ships and on some other products that might be of interest due to EVE Online news stuff. For the people that did not watch part 1, I can actually condense this very easily. Plex are up significantly because of the Plex for Good that is going on at the moment, and minerals are mostly moving sideways with a decent balance in supply and demand in those markets. So let's go to the market and let's start with the Tech 1 ships. So we will start here with the Drake, and that's already a very interesting chart right away. The Drake has been going up decently over the last month from 41.5 million to close to 44.5. So let's have a quick look at prices in station. 45 million for sell orders, 42 million for buy orders. And then let's have a quick look if this is going to be sustained or not. The interesting part here is a pretty big buy order at 42 million ISK. That is very recent, and on the other hand you also have 26 and 12 Drakes being sold very recently for 45.8 million. So if we look at the chart, the sell orders are just a little bit higher than what the chart is still showing, and the buy order at 42 million is a little bit below. So I would expect, because demand is still a little bit higher from what I can tell by these numbers, I would expect the averages to continue to go up just a little bit, but after a while the Drake is probably going to start moving sideways. And if we take a look at the 1 year chart, I think this is pretty interesting. We can see that it looks like the Drake is crawling out of its bottom really, of close to 42 million ISK, which it's been since early September. It's really known a big dive since Odyssey, and it's coming from way higher before this as well. But right now there is some selling opportunity, and I think that this is why there is this supply coming online at 45.8 million ISK. So people are already expecting this opportunity to not last too long, and they're willing to dump extra Drakes on the market. So that is why I think it might continue just a little bit, because there is a decent amount of demand at 42 million ISK. It might continue to go up just a little bit, but I think it will start moving sideways because this is decently balanced. Next up, we'll have a look here at the Maelstrom. Prices in station for the buyers 168.8 and for the sellers 173.8. That's just a 5 million margin on the Maelstrom. That's actually not a lot in my opinion. What I also see is a lot of pretty recent sell orders, and they are definitely competing here. You can see 173,992, 173,900, and then it just one is less, and here 4 and 5 of them coming online very recently, still down just a little bit from the previous orders. On the supply side there is some, but I'm really only seeing 2 recent ones for 3 and 1 Maelstrom at 168.8. If we have a look at the chart here, the average are still hanging around the 174 mark. There is definitely more supply than demand, so I do think that this downward trend, which has started about 2 weeks ago, will probably continue in the Maelstrom, because there is just more supply than there is a demand to soak it all up at the moment. The average volume is even a little bit less than 50 Maelstroms being sold in Jita on any given day. So yeah, just these 2 sell orders, that's already like 10 of them. That's pretty much 20% of the entire day volume. So if people want to sell their Maelstroms, they'll probably have to go even lower than this on the sell order side. So yeah, more supply than demand for the Maelstrom, price going down. Next up, we'll have a look at the Omen, and yeah, this is pretty obvious that here we have the exact same situation. Look at that, 49, 54, 10 and 29 Maelstroms being sold, decently recent orders for 9 million ISK. On the buy order side, yeah, here you have 20 of them, but the rest of it is way lower. And keep in mind, this also starts at 7.7 million ISK. So we can see here indeed that the Omen is trending down. Buy orders at 7 million, that's even way below this chart. Sell orders competing quite heavily. at the moment at the 8 to 9 million price band. I think this competition is going to continue, and that we can expect the Omen to continue to trend down. Next up, the Rock. That one was pretty interesting because last week it went up. That was this upswing you see right here, but it's already correcting back. So I would expect the supply and the demand side to be a little bit more in sync, which it is. Supply here coming online, but it's just 1, 2, and then 4 of them at 185. So that's pretty much the current price. And then on the demand side, there is some demand, but at 173 and at 166. So I guess because these are the current average prices and they are slowly going down, the floor for this is obviously way lower than what it is here, 173.5 or even 166 million ISK. So yeah, the Rock is probably also going to continue to go down a little bit. The reason for this is also that you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last 6 sell orders are actually very recent and also in competition with each other, trying to unload rocks. So here, where last week it was the opposite, rock had a lot of demand but not so much supply. Supply has overshot demand by now, and so it is correcting, and we can expect this to continue actually, because it seems to be a general trend for Tech 1 chips. And then the Talos seems to be the exception here. You can clearly see the data point going up towards 70 million ISK. And we have indeed sell orders at 70 and then 71 million ISK, although they're pretty recent. And on the buy order side, not that much. So unfortunately, it looks like this upswing is going to end here, because 10 and 36 Taloses coming to the market very recently at 71 million ISK. The price will not break through above that anymore. We're talking an average of probably 90 rocks on a day. This is almost more than half of a day supply here in Taloses. Whereas on the demand side, there is some demand at 65, and it's not even as high as what we're seeing here on the sell order side. So yeah, the Talos knew a very good week, but unfortunately by now supply has overshot once again, and we can expect this trend to end pretty quickly, and maybe even start to drag the 5-day moving average down pretty quickly. If numbers like this keep popping up, 36 and 16 Taloses coming to the market, it will never break this price anymore. So yeah, most of the Tech 1 chips are going down a little bit, and the Talos went up against the trend, but it looks to me that there's too much supply in that already, and this is going to correct back, just like what the Rock did last week. Then I'll have a quick look at some Tech 2 ships, just to get another feel of trade opportunities. Let's have a quick look here at the EOS. Is that one of interest? This actually seems to be meeting each other right here at around 307 million ISK. Does this mean that supply and demand is a little bit more in sync? Yeah, there's competition for small orders here on the supply side, and 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, and there's actually recent orders for 294 as well. So if the sell orders seem to be what dictate the price here at the moment, there is some competition, so this could actually go down just a little bit in my opinion. Although the price here is at 309, which is pretty much here. This is interesting and very difficult to tell. On one hand, it doesn't look like there's that much demand. Of course, the volume is pretty low as well, like around 9 or 10 EOSs on a single day. So it will never break 309 million if you look at the amount of supply here. But if I look at the rest of the chart, it's actually getting bought at the price of just below 309. So I think this will actually start moving sideways, just because there is enough supply. It will not go up, but there is just not enough volume in any given day to soak up all of these EOSs. Yeah, I think it's gonna move sideways for the EOS, which is unfortunate, because I'm looking at these Tech 2 ships mostly for these spikes, so that you have a good chance to make some trade money. So next up here we have the Guardian. Let's go to the 1 month chart. On the Guardian you could clearly see those nice spikes as well, but this feels a lot more stable as well is supply and demand. Yeah, here's supply, look at that, 66 just brought to the market at 148, so price will never break that anytime soon. So at best we can expect Guardians to actually go down because of oversupply. There's some demand at 142. How many would that be? 10, 11 ships that could get soaked up in a day. So if that does happen, if these orders get filled, then yeah, Guardians might start to go down. There's definitely a pretty big at 148 to 88, there is like 100 Guardians there. That's enough for 3 or 4 days. So yeah, don't expect the Guardian to go up. That's actually pretty interesting, you know, because if I would have just looked at the entire 1 year chart, you know, oh, look at all these nice spikes. This might just be a buying opportunity right now. Well, it's not, you know, there's definitely oversupply here. You could wait and hope that these buy orders actually get filled, and then you could pick up some Guardians below 140, and then you might actually have a pretty good deal. So yeah, this very interesting analysis for the trade ships, I think. Let's have a quick look here at the Astarte. On the 1 year chart, that's very interesting. Look at how low that is. Let's have a look at the 1 month chart. Still trending down. Look at that data point breaking 230. That's pretty interesting. So let's have a look at supply demand side. Interesting here again. A bit of oversupply. 15 Astarte for 238. That's more than a full days of supply, so don't expect the Astarte to go up. And on the demand side, you can see that it's actually very low. So this might actually be a buying opportunity if you're willing to pay 210 million ISK for an Astarte. That there might just be some opportunity to pick some up on the cheap. If I then look again at the 1 year chart, what was the price? 210. Oh yeah, that's actually not bad at all. Look at where that puts it on the chart. Even below what I would call the entire average before these 4 spikes. If you could pick some up here, I would call the Astarte a buy opportunity for the medium term. If demand comes back all of a sudden, then you're looking at some very good purchases. So yeah, this is actually very good analysis. We have a little bit of oversupply on the Tech 2 market, but the analysis of buy orders and sell orders can definitely help you to spot when there won't be a spike in the next few days just because there's so much supply, or if you're actually on a buying opportunity because demand is so low, which for the Astarte I think is definitely the case. So that's pretty interesting and very handy for this new way of analyzing the market. I'll have a quick look at Tech 3 ships, which are still trending down, and the reason for that is still oversupply. Look at that, still coming online very recently. 10, 7, 2 and 5 legions for 146.5. So are we seeing the same in the Loki? Yeah, look at those big sell orders, and on the demand side it's not even close. Proteus exactly the same. Look at that. Last week we had all these fresh orders. Here we get this again. Demand side 1, 2, 6, 1. That's just not going to stop this this downtrend for Tech 3 ships. There's just way too much supply in this. On the Tengu side, this might have stalled a little bit, although still 17 of them coming is quite a lot. We are seeing some here at the try at 157. No, that's actually going down as well. It even dipped below 150. I guess all that supply did get bought out because there is some buyers at 151, but there's still way more supply coming online here for Tech 3 ships than there is demand. So although the Tengu is recovering a little bit from a very low point below 150 million, man, that's extremely low. Oh, I should really go to the 1 month chart. There is a little bit of recovery, but you can see here already the data points are trending back down because supply comes right in. Whenever Tengu seem to bounce back 5 million, there's immediately 17 Tengus ready to be thrown on the market, hoping to finally sell them. Yeah, just way too much supply in the Tech 3 market at the moment. I have a quick look at the melted nanoribbons, which is a personal investment of mine. And although it corrected a little bit in the last 2 weeks, it's actually slowly trending back up a little bit. So we'll have a quick look at supply. Unfortunately, look at that, almost 2,000 melted nanoribbons. That's again more than 20% of the daily average sales, putting a damper on how high melted nanoribbons can rise in the short term, because that's 4.4 million ISK, and you can see that the buy orders are actually, there is enough supply. On the buy order side, you know, these are pretty recent at 4.4 million, but there is enough demand, but there is definitely supply to meet this, so I would expect a sideways movement from here. Just seems pretty much balanced. So that's it for the ships. R64, a tip was given here to maybe not check that every month, but only when maybe some big news happens, like a big 0-0 war and stuff like that, because other than that, it's really something that is completely controlled by the supply side, because it's 0-0 alliances that provide this R64 stuff. So I'll quickly touch on the Marauders. Have a look here. Feels in sync to me, a little supply coming and a little demand. Well, that's actually a little bit older, so it might be trending back down, maybe in the data points, but yeah, pretty much moving sideways because it's imbalance. Next up, the Chronos here. That's a little bit more supply and surprising below 1 billion ISK, so that did go down a little bit and is still slowly trending down. So there is enough demand for the Chronos, as you can see that here. Oops, that's actually wrong click. Recent. Yeah, a lot of recent buy orders, so they can actually sustain the price, but there is enough supply as well, and so it's moving sideways with a slight edge on the price going down slowly. So it seems that there is just a bit more competition in sell orders. And then the Paladin, that looks like a little bit more supply, but again there is there's not that much recent demand. This could be going down, and it is going down, so this is indeed correct. All of this demand side here is actually a little bit older. The supply side is pretty recent, and so the price of the Paladin is actually going down at the moment. Okay, pretty interesting stuff. Fuels, no real need for me to touch on that anymore. But for the final part, I'll actually have a look at the SOE ships, because CCP announced that the SOE battleship, the Nestor, is coming with Odyssey 1.1. For people that get them in HiSec, it's 1 million loyalty points, and this should have an impact on the Stratios as well. So let's have a quick look here. That is definitely going up. Right here, I think from 430 towards 445, something like that. Yeah, even 452 for a Stratios, 430 on buy orders. There's still supply coming online, but there's equally demand coming online, obviously. And the loyalty points, well, they'll just get more expensive, because there is another SOE ship coming to the market that's going to be even more costly, even bigger. And I do expect there's going to be a decent amount of demand for that as well, because it's an awesome drone ship with armor resists that can also do some exploration. A great remote repping ship, a unique bonus I think for a Tech 1 ship, that it can remote rep at twice the distance. It just, to me, it sounds like an awesome ship that I would love to actually build in a C1 wormhole. If you could have 2 or 3 of those Nestors in a C1 wormhole with remote reps and good drone damage, you could actually be a force to be reckoned with in there. So yeah, I think this is only going to increase here, because I expect that actually the supply side is going to suffer because of the Nestor coming in with Odyssey 1.1, as people start to hoard their loyalty points for Sisters of Eve in anticipation of the Nestor, in order to bring those to the market, because there's going to be a lot of money made there on the Nestors. Those are going to be worth incredible amounts of money. Let's have a quick look here if the Astero is also following suit. So you can see that demand is definitely there. All of these buy orders at 110 million ISK are actually new. On the supply side, it's also new, but at 125 million, which is definitely up. It's actually been at 110 million just before December. So yeah, it's just the SOE loyalty points are going up because of the Nestor announcement, and this is driving the price of these new ships to new highs once again, which is unfortunate, because I have yet to buy one. I would really love to buy myself. Let's have a quick look here. A Stratios, but it just hasn't happened yet. Maybe if I can make just as much ISK in the next few weeks as what I did towards the donation for Kriba, where we donated 1 billion for Plex for good. I might end up buying one in like a week or two, but I don't expect this price to actually go down. So if you want one, yeah, you'll have to be willing to pay almost 500 million ISK for a Stratios, which in my opinion is quite a lot for a pirate cruiser, pirate faction cruiser. But well, that is what the market is. You know, the demand is simply there, and the people who did their grind for SOE loyalty points, they made the right move because they're really making bank at the moment. Anyways, that's it for this Eve Talk, I think. Thank you very much for watching. I think I like this concept. Let me know how you like this compared to just one episode. I might actually be able to make this in one episode if I go over this quickly enough. But I'm still open to any suggestions, and that includes materials to check during Eve Talk if you have some good ideas or some news to share that there's stuff that I really should check on the next Eve Talk, then I will definitely try and do that as well. If you like this format, let me know. If you don't, you know, if you'd prefer to have even more analysis, longer, or if you'd like a shorter video, maybe like a 20-minute Eve Talk where I go for all of this stuff even more quickly. I'm still experimenting with the format and all the new information that I had, so definitely open to anything. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Oh, enjoy the CCP live stream. See you guys there.